Okay, so we're going to start lying down however you want to. Get nice and cozy. You can do what you want with your limbs, let your eyes drift shut. So we're going to spend the beginning of the practice just a couple of minutes relaxing like we always do, but we're going to have a longer relaxation towards the end today. So know if this seems a little shorter than usual. We've got a long, deep relaxation to look forward to. Let's take a couple of easy breaths now. And just notice what comes up, notice what happens. You don't have to change anything. But begin to not just not change anything or not have to change anything, but also not engage. So, of course, we know that one of the reasons we can get stuck in a loop or down a rabbit hole is because we engage. And the engaging itself is what causes the snowballing. So, we're not going to suppress. Continue to let everything come up without engaging, reacting, extrapolating. I know some days it's easier to do this than others, but I can promise you from experience and from research that the more you do it, the more you'll remember to do it, the more you can tap into it all the time. So again, notice everything that crosses your attention. And when something sticks to it, or when it sticks to something, simply notice. And step back so you cease the process of engaging with it. And allow it to morph and to shift on its own. You just watch. So this is what I mean when I ask you to practice dismissing thought. It isn't forcing anything to stop because it will never work. But the act of dismissing is choosing not to engage. We all know thought is useful and wonderful and wise sometimes. But right now, for your health, for your well-being, for your mind state, let's just practice, get a little bit better at noticing what comes up without engaging, reacting, extrapolating. And can you sense how much kind of energy and effort it takes when you are engaging and reacting and extrapolating all day long. Again, you can get better and better. You are getting better and better at being conscious of that and stepping away from it every once in a while. So we'll continue to do that. We'll tap into that like we always do when we move through our asana practice. Again, we're being honest, harmless. We're not suppressing anything. We're just practicing, noticing when we get lost in thought, stepping back, and disengaging, dismissing. So we're going to go to the breath as we always do, but let's try this. We're going to move pretty soon, in like a minute or two. But what we'll try to do before is take the slowest, not the deepest, although it's fine if you breathe deeply. We're going to take the slowest couple of cycles of breath. So I'd recommend counting to yourself, perhaps. Maybe counting to 20 or 30. So let's try to take no more than 1 or 2 inhales and 1 or 2 exhales in a minute. This is perfectly safe for your body, for your lungs, your heart, your everything. Just see how it feels. I'm still counting the slowest, really drawn out inhales and exhales. Let your belly, your rib cage, your everything move with the breath. Slow, slow, slow. Keep on counting. This is another thing that you can do whenever you'd like during the day if you find it useful. Even just one time, in the middle of a work day, taking a 20, 30-second inhale and exhale can completely shift your mindscape. So if you're still in it, if you're still exhaling slowly, perhaps, keep it up, do your thing. But let's all see what it feels like to relax the eyes a little. And soon, perhaps you begin Ujjayi breath, or just noticing the texture of the inhales and the exhales. You no longer have to breathe really, really slowly unless you want to. We're going to move when I start talking again, but this time is yours. Noticing what comes up without engaging with it, and returning your attention to your breath. So you don't have to open your eyes if you don't want to, and continue breathing in your own time, in your own way. But let's stretch the legs forward, like you're lying down, like you're sleeping, legs out. And then bring the arms overhead. And just reach your fingers and your toes away from each other. And your body might kind of take over the breath. Almost miming a stretch or a yawn might make you do it, and that's fine. And then let's leave the arms out to a T, maybe with the elbows a little bit bent, and you can make your back feel nice and cozy. You're going to leave your left leg where it is, and you can leave your lower back off of the floor, so neutral spine. But take your right knee to point up towards the ceiling and notice your breath. So Whether you have the capacity to internally or externally rotate your hips, the twist in your bones, all sorts of things are going to affect this. So just take it slowly at first. But let's take the right knee towards the left side of your chest and then stretch your right leg out. Now we'll move with the breath. So breathe in and then exhale. Take your right knee towards the left side of your rib cage in the front of the body and then back out. Notice what you feel. Your leg will press up against your belly. It's fine. Take your knee to your shoulder and back out. We're going to do 2 more times. I like to bring the knee on the exhale and then out. With your breath, 1 more time. Right knee goes over to the left. And then grab onto it. The next time the knee comes in, grab onto it with your left hand. Keep the knee moving over to the left. You can move your lower leg to the left if you want to. And then we're going to lift the upper back off of the floor some. Maybe grab onto your leg with your right hand too. And just take a breath here. Again, you're taking your knee over to the left. You're sitting up like a crunch. Yeah, good. And then when you're ready, release your head, stretch your leg back out. And if you want, you can stretch again, maybe interlace your fingers. Don't work at it though. Just breathe how you want to. And then again, let's bend the elbows in a way that's comfortable, neutral back, so you're not trying to arch your back and you're also not trying to push the lower back down. We're going to take the left knee in towards the belly, and then you're just going to subtly, it doesn't have to be a lot of movement, take your knee over to your right shoulder. Not the floor, but towards the front of your body, like towards your chest, and then stretch the leg out. Notice what you feel. I feel this mostly in the left lower portion of my abdomen, but you might feel it all sorts of places. It's perfectly fine. Knee back in, about 5 times total. You don't have to count, just keep going. Leg forward. And then maybe it's on the exhale, you take your left knee to your right shoulder. And out. Again, not necessarily towards the floor, but towards the front of the body. And this time, or the next time you've got your knee in, just leave it there. You can let your lower leg travel over to the right, whatever feels better on your joints, but grab that knee with your right hand and see if you can draw it a little bit in a way that's absolutely pain-free, just a little bit closer. And then lift your upper back like you're doing a crunch. Maybe you hold on to your leg with your left hand too. Again, you're pulling your knee gently towards the right side of like your collarbones, your shoulder. And then let's place both feet to the floor. Bring the fingertips to support the head and do just a little bit of a crunch. So maybe your lower back is on the ground now, but it's okay if it isn't. Lift your feet up. We're not doing a lot of these, everyone. Let's do maybe 6 on each side with the breath. So inhale, you can stretch your left leg long, and then exhale, take your right knee and your left shoulder towards each other. Inhale, right leg long. Exhale, left knee, right shoulder. Inhale, come towards the middle, switch your legs, and exhale, twist. Breathe in. Exhale, twist. Keep going. So move your knee and your upper body towards each other, not just one. And again, everyone's range of motion will be different. It's totally fine. When you take your knee and try to really cross it across your body, not just in, but across your body. Just a few more. The next time you take your left knee in can be the last time, and then just release your head and shoulders and move however you feel like. And then let's come on to hands and knees. Take your time. Come up to hands and knees and let's do some cat-cow poses. Spreading out the fingers. Good. And inhale, lift your sit bones, sternum and nose. Exhale, tuck under. Keep on going. So this practice of not engaging, it's an ongoing thing because your mind is built to roam and to seek. So it's always going to be looking for stuff, and your biases are going to make things grab your attention. Just notice, dismiss, redirect back to your breath. And we're not going to distinguish anything. Every time you get lost in thought, don't engage with it. Maybe if it's something really just lovely and wholesome and wonderful, you can engage with that. But all the neutral stuff and all the other stuff, Dismiss and return to your breath. And then bring your back to neutral too. Let's take the right knee. We're only going to do one of these. I just want you to see how it feels. Take the right knee over towards your left elbow. And it's okay if your toes are on the floor. Your left knee's down. And you're going to lift your sit bones, lift your sternum, and look up. So you go back into cow pose, but you're drawing your right knee towards your left elbow. This can be really kind of funky depending on a person's mobility. Just draw your right knee towards your left elbow and do cow pose. Lift your chest. And then keep your knee towards your left elbow, but go into cat pose. This might feel a little more familiar. Drop your head. Good. And then lower your right knee down. You might want to do another cat-cow if that feels good. Feel free. And then neutral back. And we'll take the left knee to the right elbow. It doesn't matter if it's far from the elbow or close to it, whatever your body type is okay with. But then you're going to attempt to keep your knee as close to your elbow as it can get, and then lift your sit bones, even your left one. Lift your sternum, extending through your back. So like you're trying to do a back bend while you draw your knee towards your elbow. Lift your tush, lift your chest, look up, squeeze your knee in. And then go ahead and round your back. So now flex your spine, arc your back. Keep the knee in towards the elbow, drop the head, breathe here, hold it. Breathe. And then release your knee down. Do whatever you want. Downward dog, a vinyasa. If you were feeling a little crampy in the belly, it's not unsafe. But it's probably because we were contorting some of our abdominal muscles in a pretty unusual way. So it might be nice to stretch them out. You could even do puppy pose or camel pose. Again, you can do your thing, whatever feels nice. We'll meet in downward dog, but it doesn't have to be yet. Okay. Notice what's on your mind, what you're kind of catering to. And again, just see what happens if you save your energy by not engaging with it. Watching how it kind of stops on its own. Go to your breath. Go to downward dog if you're not there. And then from downward dog, travel up to the front of your mat and fold forward. When you're ready to, take a breath in, lift your back up some, look forward. Let's exhale, fold, and grab onto opposite elbow with opposite hand. Good. So this is a group of pretty deep folders. You can keep your knees bent as much as you want to, but you can fold as deeply as you prefer. Like you can draw your torso as close to your legs as you like. Good. And maybe let your head hang too, and just take a couple of breaths here, feeling a sense of release in your neck. On the exhales, you can nod yes and no or make a figure 8 shape. Now let's straighten the right leg a little bit and allow the torso, exhale, to swing over to the right some. And then as you do that, push the right heel into the floor and roll up to stand nice and slowly. And then when you get to the center, you can drop your arms, reach them back up when you're breathing in, and fold again, exhale. Inhale, lift the back up as high as feels nice. Exhale, fold, grab onto opposite elbow again. Good. Straighten your left leg a bunch. Let your right knee bend a bunch. You might roll onto the pinky toe side of the left foot just a little bit, but make sure you still feel your heel pressing down. And then roll through your left side. Push that left heel down and roll up to stand, just feeling the stretch. And when you are facing forward, let your arms hang. And from there, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe lift your eyes and follow the full exhale down. Stopping folding about when you stop exhaling. Inhale, lift the back up some, look forward. Lower your fingertips and step the left foot back. Good. Plant your left fingertips or palm all the way down and then twist over to the right. Turn the rib cage to the right, reach your right arm up and gaze up at the thumb. Good. Good. Feel your feet pressing into the floor. Feel as though you could take the right side of the rib cage and just shift it towards the wall behind you ever so slightly. Breathe in and breathe out, lower your fingertips to the floor. Inhale, lift the gaze, look forward, and exhale, step forward and fold. Take extra steps if you want. Inhale, lift your back. Exhale, fingers lower, right foot goes back. So same twist other side. Fingertips or palm to the floor and twist to the left. So now feel like you're trying to take the left side of the rib cage just slightly. It doesn't have to be really exaggerated unless you're a really mobile person. But take the left side of the rib cage and just exhale. Dip it to face or to move towards the wall behind you a little bit. And then maybe it's this exhale that lowers your fingertips to the floor. Step forward again and fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. We'll roll up to stand again, but this time through center. Take your time. Roll up to stand. Shrug your shoulders, point your eyes forward. When you're ready to, let's take the left foot and move it back just a couple inches. Leave the toes in the floor so we don't have to make this crazy for balancing. Just step the foot back a little bit. And when you're ready, take your left arm back too. Inhale, reach your right arm up. And then exhale, push into the floor with both feet and just lean back ever so slightly. You can take both arms back. And then go ahead and maybe next exhale, stand up straight. Step your left foot forward, arms by your sides. Right foot back just a few inches. You can be on the toes. The right arm's going to go back. The left arm's going to go up. And you can have your left arm as far away from your face as you want to. So left arm up. And then when you're ready to, take your arm back. Lean back ever so slightly. Both arms back. Breathe in. And then exhale, stand up straight. Relax your arms. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the back up some, look forward. Fingertips lower and the left foot goes back. Left hand plants to the floor. Twist over to the right again, just like we did. Then you can look up at your thumb. We're not going to be here long, and we're not going to do this again on this side. But see if you can push the floor away with your feet. Take the right side of the rib cage and move it towards the wall behind your back. And feel the left shoulder blade move down towards the floor. Inhale when you're ready. Exhale, fingertips down. Put the left knee down. And then however you can, take your right leg and reach it back in space. So you're on hands and knees with your right leg back. Perfect. Plant your right hand more or less under the wrist, but doesn't have, or under the elbow. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then reach your left arm forward. So this is often referred to as bird dog. You can point your foot, you can flex your ankle any way you want to. But reach your hand and your foot away from each other and breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Let's lower the knee, lower your left hand. Tuck your toes, lift your knees up, plank pose. So you're going to lift your right foot. Just lift it in the air and then put it down. And then left foot and put it down. Perfect. Right foot. Left foot. Now as you do this, start lifting your hips a little bit. And as you just continue to march, one foot up at a time, hips are lifting up higher and higher, and you step a little bit forward every time until eventually you might have to come onto your fingertips. And you get closer and closer to the front of the mat. And soon that marching brought you up to the front of the mat into a forward fold, hands off the floor and relax. Take your time. Take your time. You can sway side to side. Notice your breath. Inhale, lift the back up some, gaze forward. Fingertips lower and the right foot steps back. Right hand plants, twist to the left. So right hand, right pinky side of the hand presses down, right shoulder blade moves down. Left side of the rib cage dips towards the wall behind your back. And then you push the floor away with everything touching it and feel like you were trying to get your left hand 2 inches closer to the ceiling. Breathe. Reach, retreat, squeeze down and in with your legs. Breathe in, breathe out. In again. And when you're exhaling, lower your fingers, your right knee, and then however you'd like to, stretch your left leg back. Hands and knees with the left leg back, and eventually the right arm forward. Notice your breath. Push the floor away. And again, when you find you become engaged in whatever thought you're at, dismiss, save your time, save your energy. Go back to your breath. Reach your hand and foot away from each other. Like the actual effort you're putting into the pull is making your limbs longer. Push the floor away. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower your hand, lower your knee. So walk your hands forward or your knees back or both, back into plank pose. And you're going to stay here, or if you want to try it, walk your feet a little bit further forward so your shoulders come over your fingertips. There's a couple of you I know are going to want to do this, so you really shift forward. The fingertips are probably going to end up underneath maybe the shoulders here. The shoulders might even be forward of the fingertips. It's a lot on the wrists. So if you don't like it, don't do it, of course. You could instead pull your heels forward so it's a little bit more minor. Otherwise, walk your hands forward, push the floor away, maybe even round your back a little bit like cat pose. Again, if you want to try it, but it feels too much, come onto your knees. Take the eyes of the elbows and turn them in towards each other. Push the floor away. And then downward dog. Child's pose is smart too, your pick. Notice your breath. Make your way forward into plank pose or onto hands and knees, lower onto your belly. Take your time. Good. And when you get there, you're going to reach your left arm forward, your right arm back, and then lift your right leg and your right arm. Notice how it feels. Go ahead and inhale, lift your left arm and your chest up too. And breathe here. I like to have my palms face the floor. You might prefer having your palms face in. Do it feels better on your shoulders. But lift your right leg, lift your arms, lift your chest, breathe. And lower everything down. Good. Reach the right arm forward. We'll take a break. I just want to do that so I remember which side we already did. You can take your left arm back and just breathe. Eventually, lift your left leg and your left arm. Right arm's forward. Go ahead and lift it as well. Remember, you don't have to go to extremes. You can lift a little. Depend on what your intentions are. Maybe if you want to feel a little more muscular effort, you lift higher. But still feel, just like when we were in bird dog, that sense of lengthening. So you're pulling your hand and your leg away from each other, which might feel sweeter on your back. So not just up, but away from each other. And then relax. Climb back up onto hands and knees. You might rest. You've got a couple breaths if you want to. And then from downward dog or plank pose, your choice, walk up to the front of your mat and fold forward. Again, save your time, save your energy. Place your attention lightly to your breath. Inhale, lift the back up, some gaze forward. Exhale, fold. Come on up to stand however you want to. Reach up, maybe look up. And exhale, release your arms by your sides. Take your left foot back just a little. Left arm's going to go back a little too. Right arm up, inhale. And then go ahead and reach your arms back in space. Lift your chest, do just a hint to the back bend. Just like when we were on hands and knees, feel like you could stretch your limbs away from each other. Like a starfish, stretching, stretching, stretching. Breathing, breathing, breathing. And then when you're ready, start to fold, lifting your left foot up and ending up in a low lunge with your fingertips to the floor and your left foot back. Perfect. When you're ready, find your breath. Pour all of your focus just into your breath. Everything else don't engage with. When you're ready, bring your hands to your front thigh. Push into the floor with your feet. Push into your leg with your hands, and then slowly start to sit up a little bit taller. When you're ready, you're going to lift your arms up. Feel like you are still trying to make your arms longer. I can't tell you exactly what physiologically happens. We'll all be a little different. Like what you imagine happens when you sense your arms getting longer could be different things for different people. But just feel like you were trying to reach your hands closer to the ceiling while pushing the floor away. And then while at the same time lengthening the space between the bones of your pelvis and the bones of your rib cage. Soften your eyelids. Reach, reach, reach. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Notice what comes out without engaging. Maybe reach a little more. Lower your fingertips. Lower your left knee. Make it comfortable. Reach your right leg back. You can have your left toes tucked or not, whatever you prefer, but the right leg's back, the left arm's forward. And this time, just like when we're standing, so you'll see the parallels. A lot of the same thing, right? You're going to lift your right leg, lift your left arm, and maybe go into a hint of a back bend like cow pose, still feeling a sense of length in the low spine, the front, back, and sides of it. When you're exhaling, you're going to take your knee and your elbow towards each other underneath you, around your back like cat pose. You might take the elbow to the inside or the outside of the leg, depending on your body type and what you prefer. Inhale, reach your leg back, your arm forward, lift your chest, lift your leg. Exhale, elbow and knee close underneath. Drop your head. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, let them meet underneath you. Place your hand and knee to the floor. When you're ready, plank pose. If you need a break, go into child's pose. If you'd like to try, this time instead of walking your feet closer to your hands, walk your feet farther from them. Otherwise, you can have your knees down. You can have your shoulders over your wrists. I have to come out to say it. My very strong prediction is that the farther away your hands are from your feet, the harder this is going to be. The farther away your hands are from your feet, the harder this is going to be. Remember, it being hard, it might not be your intention. Notice your breath. When you're ready, lift your right foot up and put it down. Left foot up and down. Right foot and down. You can do this with your knees on the floor. You can do this with your shoulders over your wrists. Keep going. One or two more. And then we're going to meet in a forward fold at the top of the mat, but we're going to rest when we get there. So take your time. You can get there however you want to. And if you have the body type or the mood that would love to drop into a squat right now, go for it. Otherwise, forward fold. If you're not sure, you can try both. You're going to have about 5 breaths here to do your thing. Good. Whatever you want, forward fold or squat. And again, I know you keep hearing me say it, but actually do it. Actually, don't engage with your default thinking. Go to your breath. And let's make our way, however you please, yogi's choice, up to stand. You can shrug the shoulders, point the eyes forward. Take your right foot back a little bit. Right arm back too. Again, you can have your palm face forward or back, whatever your shoulder likes. Left arm's going to lift up. When you're ready, reach your arms back, lift your chest, do a hint of a back bend like a cow pose, a sense of length in your waist, in your low back, in your belly. Reach, reach, reach. And then on the exhale, sit up, Begin to fold them whenever you kind of dare. Lift your foot up, plant your fingertips to the floor, and step back into a lunge. Return to your breath. Good. Bring the hands to the front leg. So it's left foot forward, right foot back, hands to the front leg. And now you're going to push your hands into your left leg. Lift your torso a little bit higher. And at first, just feel the effort of your hands pressing into your leg. It's a hugely different dynamic. You might feel it in your abdomen. And then when you're ready, push the floor away with your feet. Imagine the floor was pushing right back into your feet. Lift your torso, lift your arms. So you can technically have your right foot super engaged and your right hip not very engaged. It's fine. And again, my saying engage your whole leg, all of you will engage different parts and differently. But just feel like you are pushing the floor away with not just your feet, but your whole leg. Like your legs are going down, down, down. Everything from the pelvis down, 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 down. And then reach up very much with your fingertips and the top of the head and the sides of the rib cage. Perfect. 2 or 3 more breaths. Feel the effort without engaging with the stories you're telling yourself about it. Fingertips come to the floor. Nice, everybody. So does the right knee and the left leg back. Take your time. So there's no perfection about getting your wrist directly under your shoulder. For some people that works and some not as much. It might help with balance though. If you kind of lean into your left hand when you take your right arm forward. Feel like you can move your hand and your leg away from each other. And then if your back likes it, lift your leg a little higher, lift your hip, lift your sternum, lift your right arm, and breathe. Inhale as your body is ready. Reach, again, not just up, but back away from each other. And then on the exhale, take your elbow and leg close underneath you. Drop your head like cat pose. Push the floor away. Inhale, reach your arm and leg away from each other and lift them so high and away from each other. And then exhale, close to each other, as close as you can get them. One more time, away from each other. Again, more away than up even. And then towards each other. Round your back, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Release your knee, your hand, maybe everything into child's pose. You've got some time, and it could be a great time for a vinyasa. For a couple of slow inhales and exhales. And a reminder that we do have a good chunk of relaxation coming up quite soon, in about 10 minutes. So we're going to do just a little bit before we get there. Good, nice job, everybody. If you want to take a vinyasa, I would take one now. We're going to meet in downward dog. And get a sense in downward dog of what it feels like in your mind, really, and in your body, to imagine you are lengthening your limbs. Like just your attention and your breath could make your limbs and even your spine longer. Like just being here was making you taller. What does it activate? What changes in your eyes? In your breath? And then relax, travel up to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift the back up some, look forward. Fold, relax. And then however you'd like to, stand up. Rest your arms by your sides. We're going to take the left foot back a little bit. Left leg back, just like we've been doing. Right arm up. So focus the eyes for sure here. Maybe on the floor in front of you. You're going to take both arms and your left leg back. So actually lift them up. Maybe do a hint of a back bend. And then when you exhale, listen, you're gonna take your left knee and your right elbow to cross in front of your body, almost like you were doing a twist. You might even fold a little bit and try to get the arm and the leg close. And then reach your leg back, reach your arms back, lift your chest. Exhale, take your knee in. Like you're just doing standing bird dogs. Keep going, we'll do just a few. Up, leg back, toes can absolutely come to the floor. You can play with what you're doing with your left arm as well. And back in, elbow and knee, even torso squeeze in front of you. If you want one more, only if you want to. And then when you're ready to, you're gonna reach your arm up and you're actually gonna step your leg back, spin the heel to the floor. We're gonna go into warrior two, but I think it would feel better if we did it with the left knee bent. So let's swivel to face the back of the mat, bend the left knee, open the arms out. And you can just stay here. If you want, you can bend and unbend your leg. You can give your arms a break. If you want to go into reverse warrior, you can. I'm not going to ask you to, but if you want, go ahead. It might just feel nice. If it's your pattern, your body just really likes it, go ahead. But then let's shift. So we're turning to face the front of the mat again, and we're simply going to step forward. We're doing plenty of balancing, so you don't have to add too much more. Right foot goes back a little bit. You might just have a big breath in. Don't control it. You can let your eyes open really wide. And then slow breath out. Relax your shoulders, your eyes. Left arm up, right arm back a little bit. Again, don't concern yourself much with what's going on with the right arm. But if it feels nice to reach it back, go ahead. Definitely lift your right leg. Take your left arm back. Maybe do a hint of a back bend here. And then take your knee in. And your left arm and right knee towards each other in front of you. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then back. Feel free to keep your right toes on the floor, but maybe lift the leg, lift the arms, lift the chest. And again, towards each other in front of you, crossing your knee and your elbow. And then back. Again, it's okay if your knee and your arm don't even get close to each other, just as close as you can. One more. You can round your back as much as you want to. And then go ahead and reach your leg back again, but let it land to the floor. Turn your feet and swivel so you're facing the back of the mat for warrior two with the right knee bent. Yeah, and again, you can play with this. You can move a lot or a little. You can even relax here. And if you want to go into reverse warrior, like maybe if you did on the other side and you haven't done it yet, now's a good time. Good. And let's just turn to face the front of the mat again. Step the foot forward. And when you're ready, with your hands to your hips or your arms in the air, your pick, let's do one more standing back bend. You could even reach your arms back in space. But again, feel that sense of lengthening, which is probably engaging and stretching a whole bunch of you, but that sense of lengthening through your limbs and your torso, and fold forward. Inhale, lift the back as high as feels good, and then step your way back into downward dog. From there into plank pose. If you want one last time, take a couple steps, a couple of plank pose marches. You don't have to. And we will meet lying down on the belly. Let's reach the left arm forward, right arm back. One more time. Lift the right leg. Lift the right arm. Notice your breath. Lift the chest, lift the left arm. Lift, 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 and put them down. Let's switch the arms. So left arm back, lift your left leg, and left arm and right arm as it reaches forward, lift, lift, lift. Let your belly press into the floor, and then relax. Your choice. Arms forward, that will probably be harder, or arms back. Lift your legs, your chest, and your arms. Feel again, not like you're just trying to go up, but you're trying to go away. Breathe. Even if you're reaching your arms back, feel a sense of length through your limbs. And relax. And make your way onto your back, however you'd like to get there. Take your time. Really, truly take your time. If you are done, if you're toast, please relax. If you're almost toasted, but you're really curious to see what a bridge pose would feel like, because we did a lot of intricate core work today, go ahead and lift up. And if you're not sure, try it, and then if your body's like, nah, just come on out. You don't need to challenge yourself anymore. I'd like you to do this if it feels interesting to you. And if you're enjoying it, hang out for longer. When you are ready to come down, go ahead and do so. And then just kind of ask your body what it wants you to do. It might just want you to relax here. You might be encouraged to let your knees drop side to side. So let's come up to sit. We're initiating, even though we're sitting up, we're initiating our deep relaxation now. So come on up. And we're going to bend the right knee. You can, whatever is easiest for you, have the foot on either side of your leg. And just hug your leg with your left arm. And bring your right fingertips behind you. So again, if it feels really good, if it's your habit to engage and press down and squeeze here, go ahead, but you don't have to. It might feel nice just to breathe slowly. Come on back to center. We're just going to go to the other side. Yep, on your own, nice and easy. Go to your breath. And back to center. Now, the options are to do a forward fold. You could choose which one you wanted. You might like feet together, knees apart, maybe even forward. For me, it often depends on what I do with my back. But here's another option if you want. You can stay sitting up, even up against a wall, close your eyes, lift your sternum, and just let your chin drop. I'm not going to go into the intricacies of it. There's an old tradition in yoga where you engage a lot of your bandhas. So you pull up through the pelvic floor, in and up through the belly, and you tuck the chin a whole bunch. And that's said to lock energy in the body. Who knows about that, but it feels really good for me. So I like to do that sometimes. And sometimes I'll just tuck the chin and let the breath get really slow. That also feels good. You might decide you would rather fold forward and let the breath get slow. But what I'm going to ask everyone to do after you make your choice, again, maybe you're just tucking your chin, maybe you're folding forward, is to really do emphasize the slowness. So you might close your eyes and count to yourself. You can breathe as deeply as your body is craving, but the focus is on breathing slow. So let's see if you can get an inhale to be 15, 20, 30 seconds slow. It's okay if it doesn't happen at first. You might find the longer you do it, the easier it gets. Slowest breaths you can take. This is breath work. Slowest you can take. So there's no competition here, right? If your body starts craving very much that you breathe in or out, follow through with that. But then when you feel safe to do it again, slow down the breath. If it feels like it's a bit too much, there's a chance maybe you're breathing a little fast, which is okay and normal. But I mean, really sip the breath. Like you're pulling in just a tiny, tiny bit at a time. You're letting out just a tiny, tiny bit at a time. Let's come on to the back. Take your time. Put some sleeves on if you want to. And you might decide to let your knees drop side to side or to do another little twist. But we're going to go into Shavasana and we're going to spend it playing with that slow breath. And again, if you find at any point while you're resting, your body is craving a really deep or faster breath, go ahead and do it. It might be worth noticing if that is the case, if perhaps you're pulling your belly in, maybe unconsciously. And I'd recommend definitely at this point in our Shavasana, relaxing the belly, the face. And we're not trying very hard. We're not trying at all. But whenever you can, allow the breath to move in and out of the body very slowly. Very, very slowly. Tiny, tiny bit at a time. Belly relaxed, face relaxed, hands at ease. And anytime something pops up, make the choice. It's not to engage, to fully dismiss it. Of course, whatever we do over and over with our mind becomes what it eventually turns to automatically. So when the stuff comes up, without engaging, orient yourself towards ease. And let the breath come and go a little bit at a time. If you'd like to stay resting for a little longer, please do. If you are ready to come out of Shavasana, maybe like when we started, you reach your arms and legs away from each other and have a big breath. Stretch out however you please. You might rest on your side with your knees curled in for a moment before sitting up. Take your time. And let's have this short moment and to practice again this small kind of ritual of not engaging with default thinking. Relax the eyes, the jaw, the hands, the belly, and save your time, save your energy. If you'd like to fold forward, place the hands where you'd like them. Have a breath in, maybe sit a little taller, and then fold. Thank you, everyone, very, very much.